Things, but God of the bad season. He's still that same God. He will comfort you and give you peace on every side. Yes, He does mend broken hearts. And today is a beautiful day. We have a beautiful testimony coming through. So thank you for joining us on Solace for the Hurting. We will encourage you to please go call your friends, your neighbors, everyone. Tell them to join and be part of what God is doing this season. Alright, without much wasting of time this evening, we say good evening and welcome. My name is Okuchi Ekon. I'm the one anchoring the program Solace for the Hurting. Thank you and welcome once again. So without much ado, we'll go into our stories because we'll have lots of commercials coming through in this program today. So you listen and you'll be blessed. So the next voice you'll be hearing is my guest in the studio today. But it's good I tell you what we, let me just give you a tip of the iceberg. I'm talking about recreation today, recreated body, recreated skin. So I'm talking about recreation, if you know what I mean. As time goes on, I will be able to explain where we're going to. So I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. It will be nice. My guests will introduce the story to you. From there, we'll move. All right, I have with me, seated here, beautifully smiling, is Reverend Oge Alum. Reverend Oge Alum, you're welcome to Solace for the Hurting.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you so very much for joining us on Solace for the Hurting. Thank you, Reverend Oge. It's nice having you, and thank you for honoring our invite. So, quickly, you will start sharing your stories because we have a long way to go today. Thank you. So, Reverend Oge, let's meet Reverend Oge.
All right, thank you once again. Thank you, my dear listeners. I believe God is about blessing someone tonight with this story. It happened some years back. That was around 2003. Back then in school. I schooled here in Port Harcourt, University of Port Harcourt. One of the days I was in the room in our lodge one afternoon, getting into evening, around 7 p.m. in the evening, there was a fire outbreak. I was already in the room sleeping. I was sleeping. My roommates, my neighbors, no one knew I was inside. I don't even know the cause of the fire, but all I knew, I noticed that there was a fire outbreak. I was sleeping already. All of a sudden, the ceiling fell on me, right inside the room. When everyone outside were bringing out things, trying to save properties, but I was sleeping in the room. No one knew I was inside. When the ceiling fell on me, it hurts me. I woke up. When I woke up, the whole room was covered with a thick smoke. There was no way out. Everywhere was on fire. The only thing I know I could do was, there was a machete under my bed. I removed it. I cut down the window and I jumped through it. And I jumped down. I was already burnt from my head to my feet. I was burnt. My skin all removed. I was lying down outside where I jumped, unconscious. they rushed me to the university teaching hospital, where I stayed. School was already in section, but I lost a whole season, a whole semester. And after that, while in the hospital, I needed to know this, that I was born into a pastor's family. But that doesn't qualify me or make me a believer. So while in the hospital, the doctors were like, your face will not come back, you will have scars. Each time I'll look at my face through the mirror, I'll be feeling bad. And little did I know that God was going to restore back my flesh. Along the line, there is this fellowship group called Castle that visited one of the days. They shared the word of God with me. After sharing the word of God, they led me to Christ. And I kept believing God for a quick recovery. I was not even believing God that the skin will return. I was just believing God for a quick recovery so that I could go back to school. But, you know, the thought of man is different from the thought of God. While I was there in the hospital, it was about 6 months I stayed in that hospital. I was then discharged. They gave me penicillin and blue seal Vaseline. Some persons who visited were like, they brought in some of medication or some things they wanted me to be using. Some persons said I should use honey. Some persons gave some suggestions of a lot of things to use. But I never used it. I continued using the Vaseline and the penicillin I came back with from the hospital. After a while, I discovered my skin started coming back. The one on my face all left. The wound, the scars all disappeared. My skin from all my body. The only thing I started feeling was an internal burn inside of me. But after a while, everything disappeared. And then I knew that God kept me alive for a reason. If not for the hand of God, maybe as at when I was unconscious, I never even know how many persons who took me to the hospital. I don't even know how they picked me up. Maybe I would have passed on from there. But it pleases the Lord that I'll still be alive today to share this story. And then I move along the road. If I never told you that I was a fire victim, you wouldn't know. Until I came back to school. And my colleagues were like, you're better. I said, yeah, I'm better off right away. All glory to the Lord.
Okay, Reverend, thank you. Such a short but interesting story. I will ask you some questions. The first one is, did you lose a semester?
Sure, I did.
Did it affect your academic year and all that?
Of course.
You had to repeat?
Yes.
All right. And then, talking about bonds, yes, you said, as I'm looking at you, I'm not seeing any scare. That means God took charge and made sure that everything cleared. From your face, I can't see anything.
Yeah.
It's because you're telling me, that's why I would know that something like that happened. But looking at you, your skin is clean. It's like a recreated skin. Just like the Bible talks about Naaman, the baby, the skin came back to that of the baby. Now, talking about bonds, we have a first degree bond, second, third, fourth. And you said something, you broke the window, you jumped out and became unconscious. When you came to, you saw yourself in the hospital. What actually transpired? That means while you were sleeping, fire was burning your skin and you didn't know.
I didn't know. My hairs. I have some pictures.
Okay.
Because I took some pictures there.
Mm.
If you tell me today that hairs will grow again, I won't believe you. But
Wow.
the hairs all came back.
Wow. The hairs came back. This is just a miraculous one, because I know some persons that had fire incidents. You stayed in hospital for 6 months.
6 whole months.
And the doctors were like, you might not recover your skin back. Wow. So if doctors can think that way, that means it was a serious case.
It was.
But God's mercy saw you through.
Sure.
So, but how, you said some fellowship came to pray with you. Was it at that point that you gave your life to Christ?
Yes.
Okay, while in school, even though you're coming from a
pastor's home,
family, did you identify with God and activities of the church?
My first year in school, I never attended any church program or activity.
It was like a bailout. Maybe while at home, they're forcing you to go to church. So when you left, oh, praise God, nobody to control me again. So for the whole of a year, you didn't attend any.
I never attended any church program, fellowship, nothing.
You just stayed on your own and lived life on your own terms. Okay, and now when this thing happened, what happened to you?
After the incident, when I came back to school, I started attending Castle.
The same fellowship that came to talk with you in the
Yes.
hospital. Okay.
And I think that was my 3rd year. I was made a fellowship leader.
The same fellowship you joined?
Yeah.
Wow. That means you were ready for the assignment, but the devil came in between. But we thank God for speedy recovery, because as I'm speaking with you, I didn't see any scare on you. God took charge, and we praise God for that. What a powerful testimony there. While in the hospital, did you pray?
Yeah. I was only believing God for a quick recovery.
Okay, you remember you needed to pray.
Yeah.
Mm.
I only believed God.
And before that time, you didn't want to go to church, you didn't want to identify with him. Now there's a problem, you decided to start praying.
Because I know that there was a time I could not stand on my own while in the hospital.
Wow.
Somebody would always help me to walk. Most times they carry me on their stretcher so that I could go ease myself and all the rest of that. But after a while, I can walk. I can even move my hands.
Okay, at some point you couldn't move
I
your
couldn't
hands.
do all this.
It was very severe.
It was stiff.
Wow.
But I can move it. It's God.
Wow.
It's God.
Powerful there. And I also noticed something. You said your parents are Christians and a reverend gentleman, I guess.
Yes.
I'm sure they were praying for you.
My father was always in the hospital with me. My mom would always go and bring food.
Okay.
My father would stay there. He would always, most times, I want to force myself to change my position while I'm lying down. He will be telling me, remain there. You will enjoy yourself the more.
Wow. So I believe they prayed through to make sure that you have this kind of breakthrough and testimony. And for somebody that is rightfully thinking, you should know that that's God. That's why you quickly joined the fellowship. It's quite interesting. So let's look at it. We have youth out there in the university. like you, they left the home and said, praise God, there is no father, no mother here to tell me how to live my life. Thank God for God coming through for you. But some persons, when they throw them out like that, to recover back or retrace back their step, it's very difficult. So let's talk about the youth of our days. Some of them thought the way you did is an opportunity for me to live life on my own terms. So what should we tell them?
Well, this generation, the youths out there, any of them, like those days when I first got into school, I was thinking I was on top of the world. I have everything I wanted. There is no father, no mother, so no one is restricting me from doing anything I wanted to do. But I never knew that to everything there is a season. The Bible said to everything there is a season. And then when Joshua was speaking to the Israelites, he said, choose ye this day whom you would serve. Those youths out there that are coming from a Christian home, like I did, and when I got to school, I forgot that I came from a good foundation. I never attended church, not even fellowship, no program. I would always stay in the house, attend parties, attend anything that will just make me feel okay or whatever. I want to say to them that it is high time for them to return to Jesus, because there is a way that seemeth right unto a man, but the end is destruction.
Wow. Wow. I'll take you back to the story of the fire incident. Were you the only person hurt in that fire incident?
Of course, yes.
Only you.
I was the only, like my roommate, they said they never knew that I was inside.
Wow.
That they thought I'd gone out. That if they had known that I was inside the room, they would have called me.
Wow.
They never knew.
Wow. So it was only you.
I was just the one sleeping there.
So God positioned this as an opportunity to drag you
to bring me
himself.
back.
Wow. And how many days did you lose by the time you came to in the hospital?
While in the hospital, I never knew when they brought me there. But
So how many days were that?
I know that I've been there for like 2 weeks or more than. Because even when my dad came there, my mom came there, it was like, my father was like, is he dead? Is he going to die? Because when he was telling me what really happened, I was not talking to them. I was just here. And they were like, will I survive it? Will I come out of this? But all of a sudden, I opened my eyes and said I was hungry.
Wow.
And they gave me food.
So for 2 weeks, you were
my father was
unconscious.
I was unconscious. It was like, is he going to die?
Wow.
Is he going to come back? But by the mercy of God, I came through this.
Wow. This can only be the grace and the mercy of God on your life speaking. Looking at your family, I knew I'm sure if we call your dad, if he were to be around now, he would say he was praying for the son.
I know he was.
Yeah, for 2 weeks.
I was taking drip.
Only drip.
And
wow. Wow, what a story this evening. A hostel got burnt. How many rooms were in the hostel?
In that line, it was about 4 rooms.
4 rooms. And the 4 rooms were burnt.
Yeah.
Wow. Their properties of students and all that, were they able
Some
to
properties were destroyed,
okay,
while some were saved.
So if not that the ceiling landed on you, you wouldn't have woken up.
Sure.
That's God orchestrating some things to make sure that He will call you to Himself. No wonder you're a reverend gentleman today, working for God. Because God's saving you from a near death situation. He deserves to be worshipped.
Of course.
Yeah, wow. This is great. Listeners out there, I hope we're enjoying our evening. We can see the story, quite touching. I'm going to read some things concerning fire incidents. We have when somebody gets burnt, the medical people will tell us we have first degree burns, and that one is a little bit mild. You see red on blister skin. The second degree burns, you have blisters, some thickening of the skin. Then the third degree burn, we have widespread thickness with a white, leathery appearance. So I'm going to ask you, when you came back, was your skin looking white or
It was
silver?
white.
It was white.
This flesh fell off.
All
At a point,
over.
I would tell the nurse that was coming to treat me, I'll be saying, nurse, see this part of the skin want to fall out.
Wow.
Because the thing keeps
Falling
over
out,
or falling out just like that.
Wow. So that means it's a very severe situation. And so listeners out there, you can see how God dragged him out of the mouth of death. From Sheol, God lifted him up and gave him back life. Fire incidents. We know that people have died. People have lost their life in fire incidents, especially in this kind of situation where somebody is sleeping, because you will inhale the thick smell of the smoke, and that will be the end.
Somebody in my area died.
Wow.
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
Fire in their building.
Mm.
He died. He's dead and buried.
He didn't know there was fire. He just passed on.
That fire came in the midnight.
Wow.
I think it was from candle,
Oh.
and he was in the room like that. And
that was it.
That was it.
Because nobody was there to notice that there was an outbreak. And then, were they able to discover the cause of the fire?
We discovered.
The students?
Okay, back then in school.
Yes.
I didn't act. I stayed in the hospital for 6 whole months.
So you didn't know what happened?
I don't know. When I got back to when I regained consciousness, I only noticed I saw my father, saw my mother, saw some nurses around, and then I saw doctors. Some nurses were like, sorry, my lips like this part fell off.
Wow.
It's paining me, then I can't move it.
Okay.
They were like, sorry, it will be better. Right there in my heart, I was only saying that the Lord should heal me. I was not believing that this skin
will
come back. But it's only by the mercy of God that all this happened. And when I regained consciousness, I saw my dad, I saw my mom, I saw the nurses, the ones coming to take care of me there. Then I think after a while, where I was like up to 4 months, when they noticed I could move, I could sit. There was even at the point the doctor told my father to go and buy me, there's this earpiece, there's this small radio, that I should be listening to things that will make me happy. That I should not be remembering
the incident,
what happened to me. So they bought me that radio. I will play music. I'll just be listening to some music from the radio then with an earpiece. Then, but after I fully recovered, the skin has not returned though. But I know I was okay. And then they gave me some drugs, gave me the penicillin, gave me Vaseline, He asked me I should be rubbing it
Okay.
when I get to the house. And I started using those things. Even when it's finished, I bought another one.
Okay. Did you still come back to the hostel?
Yes, I was visiting the hospital.
Okay.
They gave me some days
Mm.
to be coming on checkup.
I was asking, did you still return back to the
To that
hostel?
same hostel?
Mm.
No.
Okay.
I changed
To another.
to another one.
Oh, wow. Wow. What a story this evening. Fire incident victim recovered back graciously by the grace of God, sleeping all by himself until the ceiling landed on him. He was able to come back, and then the last strength he had, he used to push through the window and became unconscious for 14 days, 2 weeks. He didn't know where he was, so unconscious until he came to. So we give God all the praise. Not that he just came back to life, but he recovered completely. No scares, nothing. When ordinarily he's supposed to have scares. Alright, we will go for a commercial break today. We're coming back. Don't touch the dial. Remember, I still have my gifts to give away today. So we are still on the same program, Solace for the hurting. And this is Okuchekong. So please don't touch the dial. Once we come back, we'll continue. I have powerful gifts, beautiful ones to share today from our story. And Reverend Oge is still with me here because we are still discussing. So see you on the other side. Let's play the commercial. Please listen to these ones. Back to Solace for the hurting. And I'm still here with Reverend Oge Alum. And he survived a fire incident. Supposed to be dead, but he's alive today. All to the glory of God, who delivered him and made him to recover completely. That one cannot even trace or see any scar to prove that he was once a fire incident victim. Reverend, thank you so very much for sharing with us. It's something that when we hear this, we should believe there is God.
Of a truth, there is God. It's all about God's faithfulness. I want you to know that every one of us out there, God cares and God is very, very much interested in you. It's not all about what you're going through right now. It's not all about the challenge that is facing you right now. God is still interested in you. I still remember many years ago when my father shared this with me. There was a time when I was much younger that I passed on. When we were pastoring at Ogoni, Tekasogo, that's the name of the community, Assemblies of God Church, Tekasogo. My dad was there as a pastor. By then we were little children. He shared this with me that he was taking me to Port Harcourt Cemetery for burial because he has done everything humanly possible. But all of a sudden, he noticed I'm not even coming back. He carried me. When he got to Eleme Junction, I opened my eyes.
Wow.
And then he took me into our church that is at Rumoba, Assemblies of God, 15 Woji Road. And he stayed there to thank the Lord for bringing me back before I started going back to Ogoni land.
I'm sure if your father were to share some things with you, he has prayed your life, prayed your destiny. No wonder you took after his footsteps as a reverend gentleman.
Well, if you say I took after his footsteps, I would tell you, if it is for me to choose, I would not want to take after his footsteps.
Okay.
But It's all about the hand of God. Because after school, I was working in the bank. I worked in Heritage Bank. After there, I went into Airtel. Today in Assemblies of God Church as a pastor.
So how did you land back to the ministry?
The hand of God.
Okay, so you can see, I'm sure your father had prayed some dangerous prayers, if I use that word, but thank God for you. So we're going to open our phone lines now. You can call us on 084 550 977 or 084 555 977. I'm still here with Reverend Oge, and he has shared beautiful testimonies about his life. A young lad, you know, this one he just shared now, a young lad that is dead. They are taken all the way from Mongoni to the cemetery for burial, and all of a sudden you open your eyes. God is interested in your destiny. No one has kept you to this point. So you can call us on 084 550 977 or 084 555 977. Let's hear from you. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Yes, I'm good. Okay. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Yes, thank you. For the life, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Thank you so very much. That was a great one. Reverend Oge, you heard him. He said, for the fact that God allowed you, there's a purpose. Let's hear from this caller. Hello, caller, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello. Yes, go ahead. Yes, we can hear you. All right, you can call us back. Do well to call us back there. Oh, the lines are really buzzing. So you can call us. Reverend Oge, you heard what he said. He said all those things are pointers to the fact that God wanted to really use you. And we bless God for your life. Thank God that you finally, from all the walks of life, you came back to ministry. Hello, good evening. Hello. Yes, good evening. Yeah, go ahead. Mm. Hello? Mm. Mm. Wow. Wow. Thank you so very much. You heard that, Reverend Oge. Another deliverance here for the children that God delivered them from also third bone degree and they recovered. We really bless God for the testifiers. Thank you. You can see a lot of people are resonating with your story this evening. We're still expecting your call 084 You can call us and let's hear from you what you have learned from Reverend Oge's story this evening. I know God is a faithful God. And Reverend Oge, while we are waiting for the calls to come in this evening, the final words for people out there who have heard your story.
You know, the Bible said, when God was speaking, He said, I know the thoughts I think towards you, thoughts for good and not of evil. So you may be passing through a challenge out there and you think God has forgotten you. Child of God, listening to me right away, I want to tell you that God has not forgotten you. God has a project for you. In fact, you are God's project. So don't think that the challenge in front of you will swallow you. It will not swallow you. You are coming out of it as a champion. You are coming out of it to testify, to share to the world. Listen, the Bible said something that...
Okay, let's hear from this one. Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Hello. Okay, you can go ahead. Do well to call us back. We're having hitches here. Continue.
The Bible said something that the eyes of the Lord is upon all His children. So wherever you are, whatever you are going through, do not think that God is not watching. The eyes of God is on you. Only what you need to do is to keep your trust on the one who has created you, because He will surely bring you out of that challenge. Because even when you walk through the fire, He is there with you. He is your fourth man in the fire. When you're going through that challenge, don't allow that challenge swallow you. That is my advice for every one of us listening to me out there tonight.
Yeah. Hello. Hello.